Owes more money than any other nation in the history of the world, a staggering $14.3 trillion. And one group of frustrated conservatives has had enough. They've launched a new organization called No American Debt. Now, this aims to advance the national dialogue about America's debt crisis and challenge President Obama's plan to tackle this. It will also keep the GOP 2012 candidates in check by asking them to propose actual solutions for our nation's toughest problems. Joining me now with more on the No American Debt is the organization's chairman, former governor of the great state of New York, Governor Pataki. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
Great being with you.
$14.3 trillion.
It's not sustainable. It's a crime against the future, our children. And by the way, this administration, by the end of its first 4 years, will have run up more debt than the entire history of the United States before President Obama took office.
In one term.
In one term. And when you look, you mentioned we're going to criticize President Obama's plan. He really doesn't have a plan. We're looking at more than $1.5 trillion of debt this year.
1.65.
1.65 trillion. And we had a couple of bold groups come out with solutions. You had the Bowles-Simpson Commission. The president's own commission came out with some very solid recommendations. He walked away from it. You had Congressman Ryan come up with a very bold initiative to cut $6 trillion out of the deficit. And instead of engaging in dialogue, the president engaged in political demagoguery and criticized the plan. We can't let him get away with that. It's too important, and we're going to be out there to hold people accountable if they don't deal with it.
Well, I am especially outraged, and we talked about this in our first segment tonight. You know, he says, well, Republicans are telling old people to fend for themselves, kids with Down syndrome, autism to fend for themselves. And then he said the collapse of the Minneapolis bridge is because of infrastructure problems, when we know exactly the opposite. It was a design flaw from the beginning.
That's exactly right. And by the way, we borrowed $818 billion to try to deal with infrastructure, and we didn't get any results from it. Yeah. One of the reasons we have the debt. But what he did when Congressman Ryan came out with this plan is not worthy of a grade B political candidate, let alone the President of the United States. And we need the President to engage intelligently with the House Republicans, with the Senate, and try to solve this problem now. And we haven't seen that. We did this last year with Obamacare when it was rammed through and they wanted the American people to forget about it. We made sure it was an issue throughout the campaign. We're going to make sure the American people understand how important dealing with the deficit is right now.
But I agree with you. The Ryan plan is a serious plan, $6.2 trillion.
Right.
The recommendations, Simpson-Bowles and the Deficit Reduction Commission, was serious.
It's a serious plan.
Right. And they're all talking about dealing with entitlements, and the president's demagoguing. So how do you have an intelligent discussion with somebody that's going to treat it this way?
You can't, and that's why we need to get the president, hold his feet to the fire and make him accountable and work to actually come up with a plan.
But does that mean that now that the debt ceiling vote is just a couple of weeks away, should Republicans say, no, we're not going to raise the debt ceiling? Obama, as senator in 2006, said it was irresponsible.
Well, Obama said a lot of things as a senator that he's doing the exact opposite of now that he's president. We can't allow the United States to default on our debt, but we should look at it as an opportunity to take a step to reduce these deficits.
Why would it be, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, why? Why not say we're either going to cut $2–3 trillion or we're not going to raise it because we need to show the world and Standard & Poor's that we mean business?
I think we should cut $2 or $3 trillion. I think the House Republicans will engage Obama and Harry Reid in trying to do that. But if it doesn't happen at the end, we can't default on our debt. The interest costs right now are close to $500 billion a year. If those interest rates go up, it's going to just hurt the American taxpayer.
If we lose our AAA rating, interest rates will go up,
well, as you know,
for everybody.
As you know, Standard & Poor's just the other day said they put a negative watch on American credit. And China now is very aggressively trying to make their currency replace the dollar as the global currency. So this is a real crisis. We can't wait to 2013. We need to get serious about the deficit right now, and that's what our organization's going to make people do.
We're running out of time. Are you thinking of running for president?
I'm not running for president. I think this is an extraordinarily important issue. We're going to focus on this. But, Sean, I've been around politics enough to know you never say never.
All right. Governor Pataki, good to see you. Thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it. And that is all the time we have left this evening. As always, thank you for being with us. Let not your heart be troubled. The news continues. Greta Van Susteren is standing by now to go live on the record. Thanks for being with us. See you tomorrow night. Greta.